and so saw pictures. You were amongst all these very heavily tattooed, not so friendly looking guys. Not that there's anything wrong with tattoos, but I mean, obviously they were more like drug lords. How do you ever feel like, ooh, what have I done here?
Well, sometimes I look back and I think, what the heck were you thinking? Sometimes, and I don't even like to tell my parents when it's happening. I tell them a little later once it's passed. But that was in Mexico, and I didn't really, a lot of these situations I don't ask to be put in. It's just that the doors are open, and since I'm a Spanish singer, the doors are open to me a lot more than maybe they would be to a pastor or a missionary or a Christian worker that's going, because the family I lived with, this brother of mine, I call him my Mexican brother, he was converted, and I didn't realize I had a part in that, and because of him being converted, he quit what he was doing with his drug life and opened up the doors to me meeting these other guys who I'll never forget visiting there at like 10:30 at night in their little, well, it was a barber shop, but really it was a cover up for what they do. And so you go in there, and I remember I was so nervous, and I was like, okay, I always talk about getting outside your comfort zone, but Lord, I'm really far out of my comfort zone. And I had just been on TV that day, so I was all dressed up, and I remember going in, and I'm like, I stick out like a sore thumb already. And I go in, and these guys, like, greeting them even, they're kind of like, why are you here? Like, and then my Mexican brother goes, do you want her to sing for you? And I'm like, no. Like, I don't want to sing, I'm uncomfortable. But then I thought, we're to be ready in season and out of season, and I'll never forget singing a song called Forgiveness in Spanish. And these two heads of the drug lord group, the cartel, they just started bawling. It was like the floodgates just opened, and it was hard for me to finish because they were just so touched. And it's amazing what music can do, but especially when it's in your language. And I remember meeting with them the next day because I felt so convicted that I needed to share the gospel with them before I flew home that day. And I remember telling them, and I felt awkward, and it's all in Spanish, and they said, nobody has ever told us that there's still hope for us. We just thought we were, in their words, damned to hell. And no one's ever taken the time to tell us. And they're just crying. And it was just so cool to be able to reach out. And I think those are the people that need light and hope. And those are the places that people don't want to go. And I know they look at me and they think, oh, you're so naive and you shouldn't put yourself in that situation. But I only go where I felt led. And I had protection with my Mexican brother. But now when I go back to Mexico, my ministry there is working at rehab centers. So I go to rehab centers, and I do a lot of inspirational speaking, and I sing, and I give out my Spanish CDs. So when I sell them here, it makes me able to give them out, and it's amazing. You walk in, and you see all these guys, and you think they're going to be like, hey, gringa, mamacita, you think they're going to be like that, but they're not. They're so respectful, and they're just so, just speaking to them, you look out, and there's just like tears in everyone's eyes because they're hearing about something that they can have hope in for the first time. So.
You're like Tom's shoes, 5 pair, they give you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.